What is up, everybody? It's Rebel Inc.'s art here again with today's Creative Corner. For today's, we're going back to our kind of regular speed paints like we started this series off with. This time I am drawing a, sorry, I just had to burp. I'm sorry, that's a little, we're just continuing the unprofessionalness. I'm killing it today. I'm on top of my game. I'm doing so good. We are designing a print that I'm going to be offering at future conventions of everybody's favorite Nintendo princess, Princess Peach. Bit of a broad statement. Nintendo has a lot of princesses. I can't guarantee she's everybody's favorite. Up until just recently, she certainly wasn't my favorite. But I don't know what happened lately with me, but I just kind of fell in love with Princess Peach's whole aesthetic and demeanor. And she kind of became a character that I've sort of, for whatever reason, partially latched onto. And I've been meaning to draw her for forever, but I just kept putting it off because every time I tried, it just wasn't working out for me. And finally, as I'm sitting in my bedroom figuring out what to record for today, I'm just like, draw Princess Peach, just do it. Just sit down, record it, do it. Stop, kind of procrastinating on this, get it done. And so I decided for this one to kill two birds with one stone and to do a painty style picture, just because I've been meaning to do more of those. And I figured now was as good as any time to go ahead and try that out. So I pulled up some photo references on Pinterest, decided to throw another bird into the mix and do a portrait shot because I have a very hard time drawing people from the side, and just kind of got to work. One of the things I wanted to really make sure I did was include a lot of colors into this. I feel like I tend to stick much 2-to-1 kind of color palette when I am doing like skin tones and the like, and I wanted to really work in a lot of colors for this character. So that was one of the things that I tried to make sure to work on, was just getting a lot of shades and colors in there. So we're going to see me working in some blue here, which was probably the scariest thing I've ever tried. I hated every part of putting this blue on. I was so worried. But in the end, I think it looked pretty darn cool, especially when we work in this purple as well. Just realized I was kind of talking a little fast, so I'm just going to kind of chill out for a bit, catch my breath. I've got plenty of time to talk about this. It was a very long drawing to do. And then going in there, adding some shading around her eyes. And then starting on filling in those eyes. For this, I used my square watercolor brush just because I wanted something with a nice edge while still being nice and mixy. Going in, adding some shadows and highlights to her eyes before doing her... Is that the pupil? That's the pupil, right? That's not the iris. I get my eye terminology mixed up. I'm not a smart individual. And I started doing her eyelashes. Debated on how to do them a couple different times before finally settling on this. And making sure I get my shading all nice before going in with her eyebrow. I wanted her to be still very cartoony without feeling like just one of those weird hyper-realistic screenshots from SpongeBob. Like, I wanted her to mesh together while still being kind of a good mix of both worlds. I'm going in with that ear, doing some simple line art with a smaller version of the watercolor brush so that things still kind of mix and blend together while still having a nice crisp edge to them. And I ended up fixing the ear here because I realized it is much bigger than I wanted it to be, and I knew if I didn't fix it, it was going to bug me forever. Adding some lip color. I wanted her to have a nice soft look to everything. And then coming in with that classic earring. It's really just a simple ball, the way everybody practices doing colors and shading and lighting and all that. But I wanted to make sure it looked really good since it's like one of the first things you learn when you're doing art. And with that, it is time to head into her hair. I ended up making her hair a lot more pastel than it is in all the official art just because I wanted my color palette to look a lot softer than I think Nintendo's been going for. I wanted a very nice, smooth, calm, kind of peaceful picture. And going in there using some kind of like pinkish orange, to do the shading and then bringing in white for the highlights. I messed with the hair a lot. I was having a hard time figuring out how exactly I wanted to go about doing things. I wanted things to be distinct, but not to have every single individual hair. I wanted it to be fluffy, but I didn't want it to be blocky. There was a lot of different, like, conflicting things where I wanted it to be one thing, but it could too closely become another thing, and I wasn't quite sure how exactly to go about making sure that things were left the way I wanted them to be. And I went with her ponytail look for this, just because, for as long as I can remember, that was always my favorite hairstyle of hers. Whenever I was playing Mario Kart, I would always go with the motorcycles for her or Rosalina, just because I loved the way their hair looked in a ponytail. Also, the motorcycle suits were rad. And then going in with that ponytail. And it was right about here that I realized I had kind of stopped doing the line art like I had done for the face, which was why the earring and the hair looked so kind of different from the face, because I was having a hard time. I'm like, I love the face so much. Why does everything else not mesh with it? And it's because I hadn't been doing those lines. So I'm finishing up this hair, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the lines. Here we go. Just wanted everything to kind of mesh together nicely. One thing I was worried about is there was times where she was kind of looking a little bit more like Barbie than she was like Princess Peach, so I had to make sure to really accent that little hair flip that she has on her bangs. And then going in, lining that earring. And it is time to start doing our flowers. I have her flowers kind of surrounding her face in a heart shape behind her, which doesn't really come through as much in the end. It just looks like a kind of an oval of flowers around her because her head blocks where the little dip would be, which is fine. I think it still looks a-okay. Starting with some lilies. Lilies weren't something I was thinking of originally when I was kind of brainstorming this piece. However, in looking up references, the pictures of Peach from Super Mario Odyssey kept coming up. And in her little piranha plant bouquet, she also has lilies, and I thought it was very cute, and so I decided to incorporate those, along with some rose/chrysanthemums. They're not super defined, so they could be either, and some weird orangish pink daisies that I don't think exist in real life, but they helped make the color palette look good. So I just kind of, went with it. I wanted her to have a nice pink kind of backdrop for her to sit on because the background that is behind that, the double background, if you will, is a nice pale blue in order to kind of bring things out more. And I wanted to bring more of that iconic peach color scheme into it. I was kind of a little more simple with the flowers than maybe I should have been. I feel like I maybe could have given them a bit more definition, but oh well. This is the part where I kind of accidentally zoned out while listening to a podcast, so my bad for that little pause there. I think there's going to be another one of those. Hey, look, there it is! Oh, it's been a rough day, and I'm going to talk about that a bit at the end of the video, but for now, we're just going to focus on this super cute picture. I mean, it is a video, but you get my point. It's fine. I can talk the English language good. And then coming in with those orangish pink daisies. And blending those in. Giving them a nice gradient. And then I'm just filling in the spaces. I had started with them being a pale pink, but then I decided to make it green and blue just to kind of feel like leaves behind it. And then going in with that soft blue background, working on a different little outline. And I kind of fought with this for a bit until I finally settled on something I liked, and then did a little detail in the corner. Just something nice and cute to make it feel nice and completed. And I messed with that a couple different times as well before repeating that in all four corners. And finally, I am taking that background to adding a little bit of texture to it with my fluffy watercolor brush. And then I'm adding a color overlay and some highlights. Took a little inspiration from Ross Draws. I'm not sure if I'm doing it the same way he is, but I'm certainly giving it my best. And here we have that finished illustration. I think I'm happy with it. I think there's a couple things that I might go back in and fix up, like the flowers, before I send it off to the printer. But I think it turned out super cute, and I'm very happy with it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you eat some good food. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you make some great art. I think I do that in a different order every time I say it. Bye-bye! I love you! Oh, but the music's still going. I guess that means there's something more to say. So, hi everybody. This video is, I know, going to be going up a little late, which really isn't that abnormal at this point. Let's just give you a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak. I'm working full-time as a barista at a cafe, that is, let's just call it popular. And then when I'm not doing that, I am at home drawing. But being a barista, I mean, it pays okay. However, I'm not getting as many hours as I would like to be, and because of that, my finances are a little slim, and that provides a whole lot of stress, which then makes it kind of hard to create more art and do things in the kind of time and fashion that I want to be doing them. And the reason I bring this up is because I am working on a couple different ways to kind of make my art career a little more plausible, and there's a couple of them that you could help out with. I don't want to say just launched, because I've had it up for a while, but I have just finally started being active on my Patreon. There's a link to that in the description of the video. I'm getting some concept art for ink uploaded. I have a couple different behind the scenes pictures for what I'm doing lately at the little studio I've got here, along with some concept work for Umbra Harvest. And then here soon we're going to be uploading alternative versions of all of our aesthetic generator characters that I'm very excited for you guys to see. If you'd like to see these and help me out in my artistic journey, if you want to become a Patreon, I'd be super grateful. It'd help me out a ton, and it would help me create more art for everybody to enjoy. And if that's not quite something that you can handle, your viewership is more than enough, and I really appreciate it. Along with the Patreon, I kind of went to finish up there, and then I realized, no, Ree, you've got two more things to talk about. Along with the Patreon, I have commissions open right now, and along with that, I have my Redbubble, which has designs from our videos available for purchase as like shirts or prints, and along with that, there is other art that I have done on my own outside of the channel that you can purchase. And I think that was everything. I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure. If it isn't, we'll hear more from me later. But thank you guys so much for everything. Whatever you can do to help is super appreciated, and if you don't, have any money to spend, it would say, okay, I'm there too. Just you watching this and being here and giving me something to work towards is enough. This channel has given me something to continue working towards. It is giving me motivation and energy and goals that I didn't really have previously. Before, I was just working on my art with some vague ideas of what I wanted to do in the future, but didn't quite have the skill to do yet. This kind of gives me a concrete day-to-day. I'm going to record this for tomorrow, and this for next week, and this for next month, etc., etc. It's very much become kind of a pathway in order to get to the things that I want to do in my future, which is something I didn't have before. And you being here to help me just kind of encourage what I'm doing, and also just kind of giving me feedback, is so incredible and so wonderful, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Which is, I guess, really all I have to say at the moment, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I do genuinely love all of you here who are watching, or who have yet to watch, etc., etc. But yeah, thank you so much. And back to the old ending. I hope you have a great day. I love you. Bye-bye!